My Lords, I want to begin by thanking the Noble Lady the Minister for her very clear introduction to this SI, and it's a pleasure to follow both the Noble Lady Baroness Hollands and the Noble Lady Baroness Ritchie, and to say perhaps counterintuitively that I agree with both of them, in that I think it's very clear that there are arguments for steps forward for the way in which circumstances have changed, technology and change, and there is an argument for reform. But I think the questions put by the Noble Lady Baroness Hollands are very important, and I think we have to put those into a context. I note that a survey put out in August by the National Pharmaceutical Association and Community Pharmacy England said that 63% of pharmacies could close in the next year, and only 6% of pharmacies were profitable. Only 25% of pharmacies are independent. The rest are either corporate or supermarket-owned pharmacies. And I think the concerns are obvious when we're talking about that last group, the risk in which you might see one pharmacist having effective control, providing authorisation to a large number of pharmacy technicians, where you might have corporate structures that put a large amount of pressure on financial returns rather than on ensuring absolute safety and the controls that are actually needed. So that's really my first. I think we need to understand this SI in that context. And obviously, in some ways, that is what's driving the SI, but we also need to think about the controls where there is huge financial pressure on independents and a majority of prescriptions now coming through corporates who are giant corporate companies with very distant methods of control. My second question specifically is really a question of timing, because I note that on the 1st of October the General Pharmaceutical Council opened its consultation on overhauling the pharmacy technician training framework, including plans to move from level 3 to level 4. And it does rather feel like we've just opened a consultation on changing the training, and yet here we are actually bringing in the regulations, which almost seem to be assuming that training has already been stepped up. Wouldn't it be a better idea to step up and overhaul the training and then bring in the different regulations? Because I think that consultation suggests there's a very clear understanding that there is a need to improve the training of pharmacy technicians. My final set of questions has to go back, I'm afraid, to physician and anaesthesia associates and the Leng Review. And I would like to understand how this SI fits within the broader framework of regulation of the whole of all of the medical professions. And I note, looking back over the history of this, we go back to 2014, the Law Commission recommendations about the regulations of a new single legal framework for health and care professionals. We had, under the previous government, consultations in 2017, 2019, 2021. All of these were in this space. So far as I've been able to discover, they didn't seem to cover in much detail anyway, certainly physician technicians. So I just wanted to understand, this was part to be the whole physician and anaesthesia associates debacle, I'll have to say. It was supposed to be part of a whole process of looking at the whole stages of medical regulation right across the board. How does this SI fit within that framework? And finally, I do have to note that in the main chamber on the 16th of July, I was told that the government would be delivering an implementation plan for the Leng Review in the autumn. I have noticed quite a lot of leaves seem to be changing their colour right at the moment. I know government definition of autumn can be quite extended, but perhaps the Noble Lady could update us on when we're expecting to see that implementation plan. Thank you.